Hey guys, this is Endar27 and welcome back to Timberborn. Today we will be heading back to our town of Ironhaven, and I have to try to remember what we were doing now. I think we are just finishing up our floodgates to give us a lot more water, and we are going to start working towards getting explosives so that we can continue to expand that. So let's just get into it. Game's being a bit sluggish today. Hope we can still get a good recording, but here we are again. Are just wrapping up this last triple floodgate, and the river will be flowing again here shortly. We do have plenty of water. We knew that going into this, so I'll go ahead and get this thing moving. Jeez, the lag is it's real, guys. It's real. Okay, well, I believe so. Our goal is to get the explosives so that we can expand our water storage. Looking at this, we're going to need metal, and that was kind of where we were at yesterday. The probably closest source of metal is over here. This might not be a terrible place to go. It's easily accessible. We just have to provide some materials so that our guys could keep working it. But it is not very much. We're not going to get much scrap out of this. 60, 45. Yeah, there's just not a lot to be had over here. So I am thinking that's where we're going to go, just so that we can get the explosives factory. But then after that, we definitely are going to need to expand either over here, possibly all the way up here. The thing I don't like is that although there's a lot of metal here, I find it's kind of a pain to try and supply your districts. See, those are all too far away from this to be worked. So at least I'm fairly certain. I guess we could throw down a path and find out, but I am almost certain that's going to be too far away from us to actually work. So in those situations, we're stuck with having to start a new district so that we can work that area. Oh, yep, it is literally just out of reach. So we will have to start a district down there. I mean, I'm not super worried. We're making plenty of food. We can expand that. I mean, currently we are paused on production of more children just because we need to get this barracks up. Well, interesting. So that backfilled even without this being finished. I mean, it's not going to hold anything until this is finished, but just by limiting the flow, it backed all the way up. Again, well, this is deep. It's not very wide, so total volume of water back here just is not even close to what we need. But we'll see here too. I've had issues in my other game with the water sort of ping-ponging. It'll reach a dam, and then, yep, there we go. It starts to flood. This will go away, hopefully. It should not be a permanent thing. It just has to recalculate everything. I mean, we haven't constricted the flow. All we've done is add a backlog. And once it fills that backlog, it just flows as normal. So I don't think that's going to cause us any more problems. So with that, we can move on to our next item of business. And we actually have a fair bit of science, so in order for us to get our explosives factory, we do need metal, but maybe in the meantime, it might not be a bad idea to throw down some leisure buildings. We can let the beavers do some work while we're at it. They do like their shrines. I think a shrine. Let's just catch one of our beavers here. Giving him a shrine. Right here. Gives additional 5% working speed. That's not bad. And this only takes logs, so also not an expensive thing. Rooftop terrace. We could build one of these. My concern there is just that once you build one of these, you're not building anything else on top of those buildings. We may want to. This residential area is not particularly huge, so we may want to do a little vertical growth before we cap it with rooftop terraces and roofs. We could certainly put down. Excuse me. We could certainly put down a campfire. And that's not the worst of ideas. Taking a look at where we're at, I think we could put it right back in here. I mean, on the one hand, it makes so we can't really expand our power network, but on the flip side of that, we're doing beaver power, so we're going to set up shop wherever we need to and provide whatever power we have to. Here comes our next drought. We'll see how bad this one is. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this right here. That'll be a good place for our beavers to go. I do also want to take a look at this unemployed. I do have 6 unemployed beavers right now. Obviously that will shrink, but I actually kind of want a certain amount of unemployed. That's just because as old beavers die and maybe we have children, we'll need someone to step in and fill the jobs that are left vacant. And so having a small surplus is actually not a bad thing here. We don't necessarily want lazy beavers, but having some on call is not the end of the world. Let's go ahead. Got that campfire going. Let's go ahead and give them a shrine too. We have enough research. There's no reason we can't provide them a little bit of spirituality to fill that void in their hearts or their souls. So I'm thinking we'll set up 3 here, and that should give them hopefully enough time to go and fill those spiritual needs of theirs. So, alright. The drought will be upon us soon enough. But I'm not super worried. There's nothing we can do to expand this. We're going to make it or we're not, and that's just how it's going to be. But, that being said, let's go ahead and move in on our next. I wonder if this might not be reachable from this area. That would be really dang convenient, actually. So we're going to go ahead and give that a try. That does mean that these trees are not going to get planted. That's okay. We hadn't planted them anyway. So go ahead and throw these down here. Throw the stairs right here. And going to have to wait for them to finish that. Wind our way through here. Alright, and oh good, they're already working on the stairs, so should be finished soon. They don't really have anything else to work on, so that does make sense. Oh good, we have some maple trees. Our foresters should be getting back to work. Maples do take longer to cut down. So if it turns out that these trees are outpacing our lumberjacks, we'll probably throw down a second one, because we always need to have logs. As you can see, we're kind of short on them, which makes sense. We're harvesting chestnuts, and in fact, I think we're just about out of said chestnuts. Chestnuts actually would not be a bad idea to have for as a resource, not to be chopped down, but to be gathered. Um, Possibly, what we may do is we may end up tearing out maybe some of this, or starting a grove over here, so that we can grow some chestnut trees, maple trees, and I think maple trees can be gathered. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the chestnuts. So grow some chestnut trees and blueberries, and get rid of these blueberries, and possibly add some additional farmers. Maybe even start growing some potatoes or something like that. These four, it does look like they are... This is more than they can actually handle. So... Which is fine. That's not the end of the world. I'd rather have more that they can't, or more than they can handle, so that we can add additional farmers, rather than not enough and risk starvation. Though that does not seem to be an issue for us at this moment. Okay, we have some space, so we can start our breeding pods up again. I'm just going to go ahead and get ourselves 30 beavers, and then we'll call it there until either we start losing some population, or we find ourselves in need of more workers, in which case we'll expand our housing and go from there. Alright. I really want to see what this, if we can reach this, so I'm going to put that above the shrines. I know I said your spirituality is important to me, and it is. That was not a lie. It's just not as important as seeing if we can reach this metal deposit. So just take your turns, and we will get the rest built soon enough. I was wrong. Although it does not seem to really matter. Actually, it does not actually look like there's any flow happening, but got some little graphical thing happening here because of that corner. Does not actually seem to have an effect, so I am not super concerned about... Oh, it's a little more than I meant to release. We're gonna unsynchronize you and just get just enough water to... Oh, we're already there. I guess I should have checked that. That released a lot more water than I had realized. So, which is fine. We've got 5 days, and obviously plenty of water still in here, so I'm not worried. Hopefully you aren't either. We'll be just fine. Oh, we did make this, and I totally spaced out what we were gonna do here. We want this to be reserved for food only. Food only in this particular warehouse, just so that we have plenty. And on a related note, we are also going to get rid of food from this warehouse. So no food in these. We will have separate dedicated storage, and that way we will be sure that we always have at least some of the resources we need. Oop. Storage. So here's a classic case of not paying attention. I did not realize that this was a 2, and now we've wasted a bunch of resources. Oh well, this happens. So our new alternative way up top is going to be through here. going to throw down our path all the way to here. Get our stairs. We are going to unlock a platform. And stairs up here. Finish our road. And because I don't like ugly things, get rid of this little abomination that reminds me of my mistake. No one likes uncomfortable reminders. And here soon enough, we won't even remember it ever happened. Alright. Well, that seems pretty decent. I am going to let them build these stairs and platforms, and I will catch you guys when they are done so that we can check if this is going to work. Alright, we are back, and they have indeed finished it. So let's see how this looks. Oh, perfect. Oh, that'll be great. 'Cause here's... Wait, I can't click the right thing. Our scavengers don't necessarily have to be right next to it. They have a range, same as any other gatherer. We have plenty of science, so we are going to go ahead and place him down. Honestly, we could just place him down right here. He'll be able to harvest lots of metal for us. And I want to go ahead and put down just another warehouse. We could go for the large warehouse. That does take an awful lot of planks, which we do currently have. So our lumberjacks are continuing. These might be more than our one lumberjack can handle, so we may actually end up having to put down a second one, which is fine. That's great. We've got that much log production coming in. That's phenomenal. Let's go ahead. Got our guys working on that already. We're gonna go ahead and put down our warehouse. In fact, I may... Well, we are gonna need a smelter to get our metal, so that means we're gonna need gears. Looks like we're doing some major expansions. Alright. Gears take planks and timbers. We have that, so I'm not worried on that front. Go ahead and throw down some stairs. I'm going to move this up. We are building up. So throw down our road. And in this case, I think we're going to build up here. Our production. I do want to actually throw in another storage. This will just be a warehouse like this. And throw our gear workshop. Yes, I do want to unlock that. I'm going to throw that on top. Just right here. Get ourselves our staircase so that people can get in and out of work. And throw down our road. Oop, was not paying attention. He ran out of water in the river. Which is not the end of the world. The drought is actually over, but we don't want our valuable carrots dying. So we are going to go ahead and get the water flowing again. Just enough to restock it and let the flood back up. I was a little worried about back here, but it does look like where there's a source block, it will not backflow out of the map. Which is nice. I definitely appreciate that. There's our little floods. It'll do its ping-ponging, and then we'll get back to life. Now, one thing looking at here, our gear workshop takes 120 horsepower, and each of these wheels only provides 50. So we are going to need 3 wheels to get this working. Hopefully we may actually just run it out. But we will see. But still, we'll start with 2 power wheels, I'm thinking. And we're going to set them end to end like so. Throw down some paths. And get some gears going. Let me see here. So our gear shafts like so. Actually don't know if they can reach this if we do this, so we may want to prioritize building the actual gears first. And there is room for that third wheel here. We have plenty of unemployed beavers. They're just waiting on power right now. So let's go ahead. I see no reason not to have this running at 100% efficiency, and we may extend out our power network some. There's no downside to doing so. We'll just see what we need. But I'm going to go ahead and place down a couple of platforms here. Our wheel right here, and of course our gear shafts. That sweet power flowing in to our gear factory so we can get those coming. We have gathered 23 scrap metal, so getting that smelter is going to be a top concern. Just depends where we want to put said smelter. Back over here, 300 science, we do have plenty. It does take wood, but we have an abundance of that, so not too worried there. Go ahead and get that smelter. This is a little bit of a bigger building. And it does take 200 power, so we're going to need 4 power wheels to do this. I just realized in my momentary lapse of thought, I don't know. Oh, okay, yeah, power can be transferred. I deleted that for no reason. That was silly. I apologize. It will not happen again. So we should be fine on this front, and that'll get us some gears coming in. I do want to, as with the other one, here comes the next route. This is why we're doing beaver power. I do want to forbid all food from coming in here. This is strictly for non-perishables, if you will. Not that anything perishes in this game, but you know, that might be an interesting mechanic to add in later. I don't know how feasible that would be, but it would be something. At the moment, all you have to worry about is the droughts, and as soon as you have sufficient water storage, you are set. You can just, it just becomes a sandbox at that point. So no, we definitely have plenty of trees. Now that said, this isn't necessarily what concerns me. What's going to concern me, or this doesn't necessarily mean that our lumberjack can't handle this, is what I mean. What will tell me that we need more lumberjacks is if he gets down to the end and these trees here have fully grown again, which looks possible. In fact, it looks very likely. If that does happen, then we will know we need to get some more lumberjacks. And that's not a big deal. I think potentially we might throw one up here. We may just bulldoze one of our own trees out of the way. Our log situation has stabilized, so you know, this is great. We are looking in good shape. Better make sure that this stuff is getting prioritized. Yeah, we're not working at great efficiency, 50 out of 120, so that's what? It'd be 50% into 100, so we're less than 50% efficiency. Again, not the end of the world, but certainly something we're going to want to pay attention to. As far as our current food situation, we've got plenty of food, and we can't even keep up with what we have, so if we need to, we'll throw down some additional farmers. Population, do I want to grow some more? I don't know. Legitimately, I do not know. Should be fine. We'll just have to watch our food production and see if we need to expand that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get some additional housing. We can keep growing out our beaver population. In fact, I may actually, we have an excess of science. Do we have enough for, we've already unlocked the smelter, so we're just going to go ahead and unlock this, there's our drought, unlock this large barrack. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, it's a 3x3. Alright. But basically, let's see, so if these buildings here are 2x3 and hold 10, so you're basically getting a beaver, 10 beavers and 6, where this one's holding 16 and 9. Is this the most space efficient? Pardon me while I run some calculations. Alright, so the smaller barracks is basically gets you 1.67 beavers per space, where this one gets you 1.7, let me make sure, 1.77. So these are slightly more space efficient. We'll build them. I don't know that I'm super thrilled with this housing arrangement. I feel like the folktales have much more efficient space use for their populations, and maybe that's intentional, but it is what it is. Man, you are going an awful long ways, which is fine. We can't use your scrap metal right now anyways, but I would like to improve that so that he's not having to run so far. He's being very inefficient right now. So let's go ahead. We're doing fine here. We've got the gears being produced. We will currently running at, oh, well, not running at all because it's nighttime. We are going to go ahead and get ourselves a dedicated storage here. I'm just going to nestle that back in here, throw down some platforms like so, and then for our metal, get that smelter right here. Get our staircase right here. Gotta refill the water. We still have plenty of water stored. Are getting probably to the point where we're going to have to add in a third water pump. In fact, I may want to add a large water storage somewhere. Not sure where that is yet. I mean, we're still fine, but as our population keeps growing, we are going to want to do something about that. Have a larger water store. Ideally, in my previous games, I set a number that I did not want to go below. In that case, it was 1,000. That was probably a bit of an overkill. I probably want to have about a minimum of 500 food, so that if I start running out, if I find I'm dropping below that number, I can kick up production and have enough time for that to grow before anybody starts to die. Gotta do better about not forgetting these things. We will probably go to the end of this drought and call that a video, especially where I don't know how long I have been running this. Oh, you have to provide access. The beavers will not cross anything, any open terrain. Like gatherers will. I shouldn't say that as in all cases. But for the most part, if there is no path to something, the beavers will not go there. Let's see, we are going to need the power for this thing. Let's see, again, that takes 200, so we're going to need 4. We do not want to block our path, so we're going to do this. Get our power shaft out this way and unlock this little high power shaft. That'll get us up a level. So, with that out of the way, 4 more power wheels. I'm trying to decide if I just want a whole line of these or if I want to maybe stagger them. Let's try a little different approach just for efficiency. So these two are right along the path. These ones are back a little bit. In case we ever need to expand, I don't anticipate that being the case, but if we do, we'll leave room to do so. And lastly, there. Now access. This is probably going to look extremely ugly. Avert your eyes if you must. It's not horrible. We'll find something to fill this little void. But that should... And we have enough people to work that. So... it looks like we are doing quite well at the moment. 100% efficient on our gear production. Our well-being is currently at 6. I thought you could click that. Oh, there we go. It was just being slow. So currently well-being, most are sheltered. We're working on that. Quite a few have access to the campfire. I may want to build a second one of those so that everyone who wants to can access that. And basically everyone that wants to worship can. We may build one more just for that last guy, but it doesn't look too bad. Looks like we're doing rather well. Alright, I wanted to come back. It looks like we're pretty well down to the end. This is probably about a half hour worth of material. I don't want to go too much over that if it can be helped. I think it makes it a little harder to watch. People, you have to budget your time, right? Everyone has lots to do and there's only so much time to watch things. I want to try to respect that. Yeah, I mean, we have our gears being produced, and actually they are working up here on getting our smelter built. It is currently under construction. As far as as things go. It seems like a lot of our guys are spending a lot of time hauling. We may want to build a hauling post to help out with that. Not 100% sure on that, but we'll decide that. It's not a high priority. Oh, gotta keep the water flowing. But we're on the last day of this drought anyway, so we're in good shape. We are in very good shape. Our lumberjacks are doing just fine. It does look like I planted a tree here that's not actually being harvested. I don't know, it's kind of quaint. Maybe I'll just leave it. Wow. We are definitely using up the water, that's for sure. There we go. End of the drought. But that said, I mean, you can see what I mean. Like, just on that, we almost got down to the base level. So there is just not much water in here. We desperately need those explosives, the explosives factories, so that we can start emptying out a lot of this area. This is probably we'll probably leave this area as is, just so that we can build out more. Definitely, these wheels are very space intensive, so there's the downside to beaver power. That said, beavers are not expensive. In a sense, relative to the other power types, and they're constant. We don't have enough wood yet to really consider building the engine, so we're not going to do that. But soon enough, our beavers will arrive at that point. Just looking at this is almost fully grown. So yeah, I think we are going to need another lumberjack, but that will be for the next episode. Well, if I don't do it, I'm going to forget it. I know it, and you know it. So let's just not go there. Oh, these areas are never going to get planted anyway. I will unset them, so there's no point to them. Did not realize that the forester could not get up there. But we'll throw down a new lumberjack right up here, just to keep all that lumber coming in. We are making plenty, but you can never have too many logs. That's just all there is to it. And with that, I appreciate you guys for joining me on this again. If you like what you're seeing, leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.